Alright guys, so I'm on my lunch break and I didn't have any footage for this video, but I said this would be my next video, so I'm going to be trying to pump it out today, which is Saturday. So we'll see how it goes because I have to edit the footage and upload it, and uploading, it seriously takes forever. But just a side note, look at these hands. Look at these hands. I revived a water truck today. That's like the 5th machine that I've revived in the past 2 weeks. But anyways, so the video today that I'm going to be talking about is the difference between ranch hands and cowboys. And the only reason why I'm making this video is because I said it somewhere and then somebody was like, "Oh, don't say that too loud. You might insult people." So I'm going to put it out there because it's the truth. There's a big difference between being a ranch hand and a cowboy. Like, I am, by technical definition, not a cowboy. So this is like the actual like employment standpoint. There's all these people that can be cowboys and blah blah blah, but from an employment standpoint, I'm not a cowboy. I'm a ranch hand, and that's my job. I'm a ranch hand. I do whatever the ranch needs. Whatever the cows or the hay needs, that's what I'm doing. Basically, a cowboy only does work with the cows. Everything cows. And maybe like once or twice a year may do something else. But I was going to say like welding, but in the end, if it's got to do with the cows, it's got to do with the cows. So basically, when you're a cowboy, you can be hired for a ranch and still be a cowboy if that is all you do. And that can be good on bigger ranches, but not a lot of ranches are really that big. The true epitome of a cowboy is basically a day worker. He has his own place, he has his own property, and he offers up his own services for the day. And they're like contract cowboy. And that's the epitome of it. That's what a real cowboy is. They go out, they shoe horses for people, so they're a farrier. They do a bunch of different stuff, but in the end, they're just day workers and they've got their own property and they end up working for everybody. See, that's a cowboy. As a ranch hand, if somebody wants my help, they pretty much have to go through my boss. They have to say, "Hey, we need some help. Can you lend us a few hands?" That's pretty much how that goes. Whereas with a cowboy, the cowboy is in charge of himself. Somebody comes to him and says, "Hey, I need this." And somebody else comes to him and says, "Hey, I need this." Then he's got to work it out and schedule it right. And something else that goes with that is that ranch hands usually are given ranch housing. And pretty much always given ranch housing. Now, cowboys, even if you're not a day worker, you're usually not given housing, especially down south. Down south, they usually expect you to drive to the property or drive to wherever they're doing stuff and expect you to have your own house. And now, that really... it depends on who you are. They're really not going to pay you well either. Another thing is that if you're a ranch hand, even if you're like a... so basically, like, why I'm making this video is so that if you want to be a ranch hand or a cowboy, you gotta decide. So I'm kind of like trying to give you guys some information here. And obviously, if you're trying to become a ranch hand or a cowboy, you're not going to have that much experience. You're probably just going to know a few things, maybe have a little bit of experience. So in the end, if you're trying to do that, most day working cowboys have their ranches, and their ranches have their day working cowboys. So working your way into that little niche is going to be super freaking hard, and I doubt you're going to do it. I'm sorry, that's like... because there are some good cowboys out there, like really good cowboys, and they're old, and well, not necessarily old, but they're wiser, and they know what they're doing, they know what they're talking about, and they get hooked in with the ranches. Like, we've got day working cowboys we hire, specifically one, and it's just like, it's like a loyalty thing. You kind of get, I don't know, I don't want to say attached, but like that becomes your day working cowboy that you hire when you need them because they've proven themselves reliable. Why would they hire some new kid for no reason? That's what I'm saying. So as a ranch hand, you're going to get paid better too, because you're going to get paid a base, like salary basically. Whereas if you're a day working cowboy and you don't really have that much stuff to go for, then and you're not going to have a reputation either. So you're not going to get hired as much. You're not going to get paid as much. Your pay isn't going to be steady and stuff like that. And it's like there's one day working cowboy that knows a bunch of other day working cowboys, and everybody goes through him. Pretty much every ranch in this valley hires him, and then if they need extra guys, they tell him to bring extra guys. So, I mean, the only way to really get into that too. Oh, weird, like a squirrel hunting guy. Hang on a second. Yeah, everybody gets hyped up about this whole cowboy deal. Oh, cowboy this, cowboy that. It's like, shoot, I call myself a cowboy when I'm talking to somebody. Like, on the West Coast, it's like, or somebody, just anybody, really. It's like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a cowboy. Like, a lot of people will say that they are because, like, I work with cows. I move cows. I go check on cows. I go deal with their water. I herd cows. I doctor cows. I brand cows. I do everything a cowboy does, but because I work for a ranch, I do everything else, too. That's another thing. As a cowboy, when there's no work for the cows, if you're the bottom of the totem pole, you're getting laid off till the cows get put back out again. So you've got to have another job. Which it depends. If you don't like farming, you're not going to like being a ranch hand. If you don't like fixing tractors, you ain't going to like being a ranch hand. I mean, if you don't like doing nonsensical bullshit that doesn't make any sense, you're not going to like being a ranch hand. It's not this big elusive world that everybody makes it seem like. It's like I found this job on Craigslist. And don't even get me started on those rodeo cowboys. Those rodeo cowboys. Ooh, man. That's what they are. Rodeo cowboys. That's like, let's put it this way. It's like a Boy Scout trying to say he's in the military. Let's put it that way. Getting on a bull for 8 seconds is easy. Well, not necessarily easy. Getting on a bull is easy. Going to a roping is easy. Buying all this fancy shit with all this fancy money is really easy. Working on a horse boarding facility is easy. It's easy. Working on a cattle ranch / hay farm, or working on a cattle ranch, or working on a hay farm is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. There is no set time. There is no clock. You're working from sun up till sundown. Something breaks, it's got to get fixed. And if you need it fixed now, you need it fixed now, and you ain't going to sleep till it's fixed. If cows are calving, you're out there checking and making sure everything's going all right. And if one needs pulled, you need pulled, and you're going arm deep inside a cow. That's just the gist of it. If you're a rodeo cowboy, you put that shit down. You're not a cowboy. You're a cowboy as long as you're at the rodeo, and then it's like a getup. It's like a costume. Don't get me wrong. I rodeo. I love rodeoing. But when somebody like that says, I'm a cowboy, it's like, bullshit, you're not a cowboy. Feeding horses is easy. Mucking stalls is easy. I've done that. This is nothing. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing compared to what it's like to be a ranch hand or a cowboy. It's hard work. And some of those people have, become cowboys that I know in my life, but it's a whole different world. So usually most of the people looking in at becoming a ranch hand or a cowboy are gonna be people that are in the horse world. Now let me tell you something. You got a whole different, it's a whole different world. So it's just basically the difference between a ranch hand and a cowboy is that a ranch hand works and lives on a ranch and does whatever the ranch tells him to do, regardless on if it makes sense or not. So it's like you literally do everything as a ranch hand. As a cowboy, Cows. That first thing I said, cows. That's what you do. That's not so bad. Shoot. Wish I could be a cowboy. It's still hard though. Because I mean, I've done it. And riding some friggin' 50 miles a day on horseback is pretty tough. It's probably not, it's not usually 50 miles, but it's usually more like 10. Somewhere right around there. But it's pretty tough on you. It'll get you gritty really quick. Now, ranch hands do usually get a little bit better pay. On average. On average. They usually get a little bit better pay. I'm pretty sure that the contract cowboy that works this area probably gets paid quite a bit more. Because, you know, he has a reputation. But most cowboys ain't going to be like that. Most cowboys are going to be the guys working under that guy. But, so yeah, you usually get paid more. You usually get housing. You don't ever have another job usually because there's no time. And you're usually hard to fire if you're a good employee. Because there's not really anybody that's going to be easy to replace you. Like, we've been out of hand for 3 or 4 months now. And we finally got somebody that's saying yes and they're moving to the property. Now we're going to find out if they work or not. But as a cowboy, sometimes you're given ranch housing. Sometimes it's in a bunkhouse. Now that sucks. In a bunkhouse? Ooh, I do not want to know what that life is like. But yeah, a lot of times you're in a bunkhouse. A lot of times they feed you though. If it's a really big ranch, they'll feed you, which is nice. Because I only get fed when we're doing like stuff where we're out on the mountain all day or stuff like that, or we're branding, and they don't want me taking an hour for lunch like I usually do. So they'll feed me, and I ain't complaining. I would take a 15-minute lunch to get the sandwiches from the old lady here. I would take a 10-minute lunch. I don't care. Like those, man, when she cooks lunch. But anyways, that's it. I guess I rambled on and rambled on. I'm going to try to cut this down to probably about 15 minutes. It's going to be a long video. But anyways, thank you for watching. I've got a bunch more footage that's going to be... I've got a bunch more footage on a bunch of stuff, like when we went out on the mountain and did all the fence line, like miles and miles and miles of fence line. I got some footage from that, and that's pretty cool. I got some footage of me going to Reno. So I took some footage on the way there and stuff like that. It's like basically, I think it's just a montage and it's a vlog, but I didn't get too personal. But I don't know if I'll post that actually, but yeah. So I've got a bunch more footage, a bunch more videos coming. I'm probably gonna kick out the one of us up on the mountain next, and that's probably gonna be like a 5-minute video. But then after that, I'm going to kick out a how to become a cowboy video or ranch hand. Because, I don't know. The living in the middle of nowhere video is about to break 100 views. So I got to tie into that a little bit. But yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. There's a lot more ahead. I've got a ton of film packed up. Sorry for rambling. Sorry for repeating myself. But hey, I'm me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to make these videos and you're going to watch them. And if you like them, you like them. The end.